These are the two clutch packs. This is the old one, and some of them look quite thick, actually to about 30 thou more, thicker than the thinner ones. These ones must have been the original ones off the John Deere tractor. These three here, I made up out of stainless steel, because these ones are subject to rusting and pitting. And these are the new metallic ones that came. This is from the company that supplied them. Hopefully you can see that without a glare. Give that a shot. Anyways, very helpful people. They understood what I wanted once I told them what I wanted, and shipped it out. It took about a week, which wasn't bad. And these are the metallic pads that replace it. And looking at that, you know, certainly they shouldn't get saturated with oil like these ones do. One of these, a couple of these here have got a glaze on them. You can see how shiny they are. The oil has gotten impregnated into it. About three of them are glazed up pretty good. So I imagine that will have some effect on the clutch. But the new steel plates are the same as the stainless ones that I made. They're narrower rather than the original Deere ones that I got, which I kept. So there's a bit of a change there. Certainly when you have less area, then you're going to have more compression, more pressure on it, hopefully to hold better. So I'm going to set these all aside, and I'm going to go stack that clutch, put it back together. And the difference in the height between the old one and the new one is roughly 50 thousandths of an inch. Instead of being 1 inch 500 on the old one, this one is 1 inch 450. So here's to praying that everything's going to be good and I'm not going to have to take this apart again. So, as we're supposed to do this, we'll just get a little general idea. I put some grease in behind the bearing that goes in here. That's all the way on. And now we just start stacking these, alternating, I'm hoping. Now this brake drum, I've just set the bolts here to keep it aligned, but I have not put a nut on the back of it yet, because that's what holds the pressure plate to it as well. Yeah, looking at this, I've got them all stacked. I've got to put the clutch pressure plates on, but I'm just wondering, since these are metallic, they may be suitable even for use in a wet clutch, where they won't build up soak in the oil and the dirt and glaze over. So possibly if I have this problem again with any oil contamination, this should be the trick. It should work. However, it took, well, I won't say 26 years, but probably 20 years when I noticed it starting to give problems. So I'll have to deal with that if it comes up again. I'm curious, because the stack is a little bit thinner, if it's going to be adequate, but well, there's only one way to find out. So when doing this, instead of pressing that shaft out and putting it all together, I just got a 1/2 inch wrench here with a little bit of green masking tape on it, and I just set that in there and give it a bit of a squeeze, and with my ratchet I get it started, and the other 6 were all done this way without issue. Of course, as soon as you start the camera, that might be a different story. But, oops, and it is. And it fell down. Let's give that one more shot. Might not always work perfect, but there we go. So, not too bad. Now, looking at here, if I turn the drive, you can see that's all the compression that's going to happen when I tighten those bolts up, and that's what's going to be pressing against the stack. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough, but we'll see what happens. Okay, just about ready here. I've got the sealant on all the way around. Got a shot of grease for this pin when it goes in, just so it doesn't rust up. And I will seat this final drive. Well, I'm going to have to do a little bit of wiggling, make sure I don't snag the band brake, and line up the splines. And it looks like, am I high? I don't think so. Put that over a little more. Gonna have to get something to lift that band brake up just a little bit. It's okay at the bottom, but not at the top. Well, just a screwdriver, and we're pretty much up to where we gotta go. These dowels have to come in here a little bit, and I should be okay. I just gotta maybe get a rubber mallet and give that a bit of a tap, and we'll get that to seat. So I've been able to pull this in, and it's just going a little bit at a time, and of course you have to move it back and forth a bit. This is so that the band brake seats on the drum, and to make sure I can do it, once again I've got the right hand brake pulled back, so when I'm doing this, what I'm doing is I'm turning the drum, the transmission, but not trying to drive the other track. As we remember, this is a crawler, and in a crawler there is no differential, so whatever happens on the left side, it happens on the right side. So I'm to the point now where I can, so I got to plug that in, release this winch, this hoist, and put these last two bolts in here, and there's two under the bottom I've got to crawl in, and of course tighten all these up now, and the final drive will be on, and after that, the sprocket. Well, next step, we got the final drive on, and of course is the sprocket has to be put on. I've just got it sitting there, got to tighten the bolts up, and after that, it's a choice of whether I want to put the fender on after the track is on or put it on before. I think I'll do it after. It's easier to do it after. I'm just tightening down these bolts here, and what I've done is I've put the crawler in gear, and what it should try to do is turn the motor over, and as I'm tightening these down, I'm starting to notice that the sprocket is turning, and that means it's slipping on the clutch. That's a little bit disappointing, as that was the whole idea of doing this, and I'm just wondering if those, look at that, look how much that's slipping. That's not a lot. Now I'm hoping that it's maybe going to seat in those metallic discs, the frictions. I mean, the steels are the steels. It's got a little bit more on that one, but I expected it not to want to turn, period. So all of this may be a real short trip. It was obvious before it was oil contaminated, but I mean, that shouldn't turn like that. It seems like an easy spot, and everything's new in there. I mean, the pressure plate isn't new, but the thickness of the stack is less than what was already in there. But again, they were glazed and had oil and dirt on them, so I can understand when I was pushing hard, this side would slip. So, well, we'll have to see. I may have to be taking this apart again, but it'll be doubtful it'll be this year. We'll probably we'll wait until the winter of next. After being at this a little longer, I realize that I have a problem. And right now you can see I've got a floor jack here, And as I rotate that one track, it should be pulling that other track together, and it's not. It's slipping. So from what I can see, the metallic friction discs are thinner, and I've done a calculation, and it looks like I'm 200 thousandths of an inch below what new would be. And I went and put in new friction discs, metallic, because that's what they're selling now, and new steel plates, and again, it's too thin. So the pressure plate cannot accommodate for 200 thousandths of an inch of thinner clutch disc material. I was hoping this was going to be fine, but it's not. I've got to take this all back apart again. So I haven't got the track assembled, but I was trying to use the jack here to use the sprocket to turn it around and get it to the other side, and it's not driving it. And to put it back together would be useless at this time. I won't have hardly any control on the left-hand side track. A bit of a demonstration of what I was talking about as I'm lifting this track, because they're joined together through the clutches, and at this point it doesn't have that much weight, but this is what I was trying to do to lock the track onto the sprocket. This is what I'm doing now to get it off the sprocket so that I can pull that final drive sprocket off again and remove this clutch. One of those things. That's probably about as far as I'm going to take it. I'll just slide it by hand. The new friction discs that I got are metallic or semi-metallic, and unfortunately they are about 40 thousandths of an inch thinner than what the OEM ones show in the manual. And for that reason, what I had to do was make up for the loss, and that became a problem. What I wanted to do was to add one more of these and one more friction, but unfortunately it just spaced things out so far. Even though there was room in here for them to go, it was 52 thousandths of an inch over spec for thickness. So what I've done now is I've just put one of the old frictions up against a new friction, and that has added another 158 thou, and hopefully that'll have enough compression now on the plate, and this steering clutch will work properly. So I've just got to torque all these bolts down, and once completed, clean off the sealant, reapply, and try to put this again together for the second time. Well, I've got this drive back on again, and now it holds. Doesn't go anywhere, but the problem is now it won't disengage. This one here, you can already feel it starting to load up and release, and this one, so I've got to pull that drive off one more time, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mix and match here. I'm going to take 3 of the thickest fiber frictions and mix them with 3 of the thinner new ones, and hopefully that will give me enough compression on the pressure plate. Right now it's got so much compression I can't get it to release. So back at it again. What I have is the pressure plate just snugged up, and measuring with a vernier, that's our 0, and it's showing about 95 thou, maybe a little bit more on that one, about again 100. That's all the compression that's on the pressure plate against the stack of steel friction plates and the steel spacers. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough. I have 3 frictions that are old and are approximately 180 thou, which is about spec, and then 3 new ones which are only 154 thou. So we're losing it just in the materials, even though they're new. So I'm hoping that this is enough that's going to keep it compressed, and we should be okay. It appears third time is a charm. So what I've done here is this doesn't represent a lot of torque, but with me standing on it, it now stays. And of course, when I pull back on the release to disengage the steering clutch, it now comes down. Now I think it'll seat in a little bit, seeing that I've got some new frictions in there and whatever, and I believe I'm good. So next step will be to put the sprocket and put the track back on. We'll get all that done, and hopefully I'll be able to start this thing and move it out of here. My daughter's coming over and wants me to do a little bit of work on her car. And as you know, a crawler basically turns into a cement block without moving on its own power. Well, this is what I was trying to do the last time, just with a chain over the top of this to get the tracks up. I get real leery about getting my fingers pinched between those track pads. But what I've got here, if you recall, both sides are going to be locked together. Even though it's a neutral, both tracks are going to do the same thing. So by me using a floor jack and rotating this track, it should move the other one. And what was happening was, before, it was slipping. So because of that, I decided I had to take it apart again. So it's a bit of an arduous process. It's raining out, there's a storm, there's a hurricane, or not hurricane, but tornado warnings all the way up from Michigan. And I don't want to get wet. I could go get my tractor and my John Deere 2032R and put a rope on it and give it a tug. But, I'll just take my time and get the track positioned this way. At least now the clutch works. A bit of playing around, but the pin is now in, and I've got a small chain fall come along on this side. And to try to establish it a little bit for alignment, I use a big C-clamp and a floor jack. So both of those are done. The pin's in. I'm just going to put in a cotter pin or a couple of washers in a cotter pin, and then tension the tracks, and I should be able to lower it down and get it out of here before my daughter gets here.